Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be adding more fire alarms in my house. I installed a full-on commercial addressable fire alarm system in my house to offer better protection and give me some functionalities that I couldn't get with residential smoke alarms, and I greatly improved my house's situation where before we only had 2 smoke alarms. I upgraded this system, installed a couple pull stations, heat detectors in the attic, a furnace duct detector, smoke detectors in every room, in every corridor, stairwells, all of that. Greatly improved the situation. We had a couple deficiencies. Those were the basement bedrooms were not getting loud enough volume, and the upstairs ones were just barely squeezing by, which is actually fine because this house was not originally constructed with a fire alarm system, but I like to go above and beyond code, and I'd rather have a safer situation. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding more alarms. Right now, this is what the upstairs of the house looks like. We have one smoke detector in the hallway, but I want to add one in this bedroom, and this bedroom. So I'm going to be adding 3 more alarms on the second floor, so we will have an alarm in each bedroom, as well as the first floor, we have one sounder right here, and I'm going to add one in this room and this room because these rooms are really what's too quiet. This video is just going to be the rough-in part of the video. So what are the alarms I'm installing exactly? Well, I'm going to be installing the same thing I put in the hallway, which you will see later on once we get to the install part of actually putting the devices up, but they are system sensor low frequency sounder strobes. These are the L series in white, and it is a low frequency sounder with a strobe on it. I can show you what I've got right now, as these are what we have in the hallways, and I'm going to be keeping these because we can't, even though this isn't the sleeping area, we can't have mixed signals, which synchronized temporal 3 may not be considered a mixed signal. You kind of have to interpret that code, I guess, and if it was getting an inspection, I guess that's kind of up to their interpretation of what is considered a mixed signal. Haven't been able to figure out exactly what is considered a mixed signal because we cannot have mixed signals here in Canada. That is illegal. So are different frequencies count as mixed signals? I don't know. Anyways, there's no sense of changing them. I'm going to be putting up 5 more, 1 per bedroom in my house here. First things first though, I need to get boxes and cable ran. So we're going to start by cutting in boxes. And this project was actually originally going to be bigger because I was going to put strobes in my bathrooms, but I decided not to. It's a whole lot more work, more damage to the walls by cutting holes in them. And it's just a residential bathroom. It doesn't need it, and downstairs would be greatly difficult, if not impossible. So it's no point of having them in some bathrooms, but not others. So I'm not doing that. I've already marked out the boxes. This is our primary bedroom, and spinning around from the door, I have this box marked out right here. These are all at the same height, 11 inches from the ground. I believe code says that your visual strobe has to be between 200 and 240 centimeters, or 2,400 millimeters, I believe, is the code on that. That is what these are set to. That is referring to the strobe lens. As far as horns, that is more lenient and dependent on your ceiling heights and where you can. So strobe is definitely the more important rule to be following. That is more specific requirements. So I base these off of the strobe height requirements, as it is more of a prominent code rule over horns, if that makes sense. And I'm going to set them at the same height as this one, which ends up with our box being 11 inches from the ceiling. So I showed you the primary bedroom. Spinning around here, we have an office right here. And this is also could be used as a bedroom though. So we have another one in this room on this wall over here. And then we have my bedroom over here, where I've marked out a location for one up here on this wall. Let's get started by cutting in our boxes. So I'm going to be using a metal 1104L boxes with F-clips on them. I got a lot of comments on some of the other parts of this fire alarm system I've done where people said, why don't you use plastic easy boxes? they're actually more expensive. You're actually getting a plastic weaker box for more money. Maybe they're simpler to install for people that can't bend F-clips. I really have no idea why they're more expensive, but they're like probably 30-40% more expensive than a metal 1104L with F-clips, which is probably the superior box. Plus they're gangable, so if you want to add something, make something larger, you can do it pretty easily. So, yeah, I really don't get it. Not at all. But anyways, let's go get the tools I need and get started here. I'm going to be using my Milwaukee oscillating saw to cut out our boxes. These are the 1104Ls, and I have this box cutter to cut these out. Now you can't get this one confused with a regular single gang box cutter. This is meant for these cut-in boxes. Your regular ones for any other non-cut-in box or for your cut-in low voltage rings is much bigger and will be too big for this box, so you have to get the right size. All right, there you go. And the wire I'm running is going to be all 14 gauge, 14-3 fire alarm cable to stay consistent with the rest of this fire alarm system, as all the other NAC circuits are wired in 14 gauge. Okay, I'm gonna start by cutting out this box in my bedroom here. Okay, one down. Now, obviously, the one on the other side, I made sure it was not directly behind this one because then the boxes would be in each other's way. So let's go cut the other one now. I think we're spaced apart maybe 6 inches or so. Okay, now that we're done my room and the office, we will do the primary bedroom here. Okay, I now need to drill holes that I made through the top plate. So I need to come in where my box is and drill up. Now, I actually lost my really long drill bit. It's stuck in that wall at the other end of the house. It has, it's a self-drilling bit, and it self-drilled itself about halfway through the top plate of the really, really solid 1976 wood, and actually broke off in the chuck of the extension. So that's in that wall, which sucks. So that was like a $60 bit. So you could measure everything out really carefully and drill from the top plate down, but that's difficult. It's much easier to drill up. So I have a shorter extension piece. But as I said, the top of this box is only a foot down, or 11 inches down from the top plate. So I have this extension here, which does actually, does lock in. So you can see there. There you go. Which is nice because I can put this inside of a impact driver for this guy, which is a little easier on the wrist, doesn't twist you up so much. Psst. You can add more of these extensions together. This will be enough though for us here. We're going to give a quick visual inspection in the general area in the attic to make sure we're not going to drill into any pipes or cables. This is luckily now October, so this attic is not so hot like it used to be. At least that's when this is being filmed. I'm not exactly sure when this is being uploaded. Could be a little while yet. There's lots of other videos that have to get done. Right down here is the hole to our current horn strobe, so we're going to need to come out of that to continue the knack, because you can't T-tap it. It's got to be wired as a loop. And then the hallway top plate runs down, but I know this is right near the light switch to that room. So I know the hallway top plate is right here. You can see that's the top plate, stud there, blah, blah, blah. So we need to find the switched Lumex, which is right there. So that is coming from the light switch. That's a 3-wire. Probably because it's a fan, so you have the capability to have a separate switched hot if you wanted. So we're going to be coming up on this side right here. So we are completely clear over there. And then from there, we will need to run over this way into the other rooms, which I'm not too worried about there being anything. But I will give it a quick check. Once again, I'd rather check than be sorry and drill into something. So need to find a top plate of the bedrooms. For whatever reason, there's so much insulation piled up over in this section of the attic. I pushed some over there. We still have double layer here, even though then there's some areas that have none. It really needs to be spread out better. I'm guessing this double 2x4 here is the top plate. It's not load bearing, so it's not going to be spread out to the trusses. Trusses like this in a house like this, you can pretty much, like in the living room, they span the whole area. So all of these interior walls here are not load bearing. You could take every single interior wall out, and in a house like this built with these sort of trusses, at least in this situation, don't take my word for it and start taking out walls. Every house is going to be different. Some aren't made with prefab trusses. This one is, and in that area of the house, they span the whole way. So if you wanted, none of the interior walls in this house are taking the load. These trusses just sit on the exterior walls and can span the whole way. So you're not necessarily going to see anything running across, but I'm guessing that's where it's going to come up, which is going to be somewhere in this area. And I'd see anything going across, which I don't. So I think we are pretty clear here. All right, I'm going to drill a hole up through this top plate right here. Give it another feel on this side. Glad I did. However, we do have another Lumex running across this way. So I'm going to try and push the Lumex over that's running this way as far back as I can, because I want to be on this side of it. Okay, I can feel it there. Remember, this is 1970s wood, it's tough stuff. Okay, there you can see my drill bit. I came up here thinking it might be difficult to find, so I was going to shove the wire down so I could find it easier. However, this is quite easy to find, so I'm just going to pull the drill bit out from down there. For the next hole, these devices are so close together, you can see the other box to there, so we'll only need to drop down in one spot. And then either this room or my room on the other side will become the end of line device, which we're actually supposed to drop down to an end of line plate or go back up and put an end of line plate somewhere. Excuse me. We'll check once again. Nothing. now that it's started in there, I want to get off the ladder so I can really push the drill from underneath and use my legs to push up. Tough stuff. This 1970s wood, this ain't no joke. Like, this stuff messes up your drill bits. I think this is why this one's struggling a lot too, is I've been drilling this house a lot of holes lately. With putting in a fire alarm system, probably that drill bit is taking a hurting from that. Just want to take a look at whereabouts this came up here, because it's easier to find when there's still a drill bit poking through. Okay, I found it. It's right there. So like I was thinking, I thought it might have double 2x4 there on top of the wall, which it did. Okay, now I gotta try and get this back out. Alright, now we need to run wire. So we need to run this 14-3 between the boxes, but we need to come out of this box here too. So we're going to leave this intact. So we want to minimize the time that the fire alarm is in trouble, and we're just going to leave it in the wall or get it in the box. So for now, I think I'll just shove enough down that hole, and then I'll take it from there into primary bedroom, from there down to those boxes, and then I'll jump her over in the wall there. So basically we just have one coming down there, and we'll jump her between the devices, since they're literally like 6 inches apart, I believe, in the wall there. They're pretty close. So we need to run that around and staple it all in place. I don't like this part, so I'm going to do a time lapse of it, and so I'd rather listen to music while I'm up there and make it slightly less bad. Here we are with Nick from the future doing a voiceover, because previous Nick was too inconsiderate to think of any of us wanting to watch the video and have audio, that he wanted to listen to music, so he had to do a time lapse. Just kidding, I don't feel bad about it. This crap sucks, and I'd rather listen to music and be slightly happier while doing it. So basically we came out of that hallway device, now we dropped down to the bedroom. Now we're dropping another one down to the bedroom, which you're going to see me do this twice. Or actually, I may have not filmed it because I was too embarrassed about it. Yeah, I didn't film it. The first one wasn't long enough, so I had to take one staple out, and I thought I better stretch it out and see if it makes it over to those second bedrooms before I stapled the whole thing. Glad I did, because it was probably a foot too short, so then I ran a longer one. So now I'm just stapling it, making sure it's every 1.5 meters. Okay, I'm happy to say I'm now all done in the attic, so let's show you where we're at here. One of these is coming in from our existing NAC circuit, and then one of these is going out. You can see I shoved those down the wall, and like I intended, they came right out. These next ones, I didn't try and make them come out, but you can see it is in there. So we should be able to grab it there and pull it out. Just like that. So yeah, let's start putting boxes in, I guess. And then connecting in to this box will be the very last thing we do. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting in our first box right here. So I have shown this process on YouTube before, but I'll show it again. All right, let's get it. First of all, our box here, we're going to open up both knockouts. We're then going to set our box back a little bit because I want it to sit nice and flush. So I'm going to push that all the way forward. You can set these back and forth a little bit. I'm going to set the ears all the way back to have it as recessed as we can, because I want my devices to sit flush as possible. You can also flip these around if you have another layer of drywall going on. So now that those are all the way back, I'm going to strip these while they are out of the box. And we do want a little bit of insulation under, of course, for the clamp to grab onto. I would strip them after they're in the box, some before. It's kind of personal preference. Personally, I do both depending on the box and the situation. Some boxes, it's easier to have the insulation to keep everything together. Some like this, I find it easier before. Anyways, we don't want that too tight, but you can see that holds it down. I'm going to tuck these so they will go over that way in the wall, away from the nearest stud. And then let me show you how good that box cutter outer tool is. Because I find it to be pretty dang perfect. Okay, now our F clips, we put the bottom end in first, or the longer, sorry, the longer end in first. Slide it up. Push it back. And while making sure it doesn't push back, push the box in while pulling it out and fold it over. Same on the bottom. Box back, tab out, fold it over. Now we'll get the other one in and then we'll pinch them down tight. Then once that's like that, you just pinch these shut tight. So once you're there, you have a very solid box, and it's nice and flush to the wall. Okay, I'm gonna do this one in my room now, but I will do a time lapse of this guy. Okay, it's me from the future again with another voiceover. Very not scripted. I don't have anything to tell you exciting here, so I'm just gonna, somebody keeps snapping me. Shut up. Sorry about that. Shut up. Where's the silent switch on this thing? Okay, there we go. What'd I do? Okay, I entered it into the box. I noticed that. We're putting it in the wall. Put the F clips on again, and you saw I had another 3 conductor going over to the other side. This is now the video from the other side. Very exciting stuff going on. The same thing you watched me do 2 other times, but with 1 wire. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. So yeah, same thing with the F clips, and this device will become my end of line. I'm now stripping back some sheathing off of some short pieces to harvest the ground conductor out of. That way I can bond all of these boxes. This one, we only had the 1 wire coming in, so I just took it right to the bonding screw. And the other side with this guy here and the one in the primary bedroom, because I had 2 conductors coming in, I decided to make a pigtail going to the box to bond it. People didn't realize in my other videos, maybe it's a Canada only thing, that fire alarm does in fact very much have to be bonded here. Okay, I'm going to get the circuit entered into this box here. So I'm going to take this device down. This will put the system into trouble. All right, this is a different box here. Don't want to unscrew that too far or you'll lose your back part in the wall. Yep. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this back up first of all, and then I'm going to wire it up as if there's more devices down the circuit. And I'm going to get it all hooked up to here. So I'm going to leave the end of line resistor in this place though. So anything downstream from here isn't supervised for now. But once we do put our new devices up, we will just simply move this end of line resistor from here to the last device. Actually, I'm not going to hook it up. I'm just going to leave it right here exactly where it would be hooked up. I think is what I would prefer to do, instead of trying to cram 3 wires under some of those terminals. Now that that is all tied in, that has the upstairs here all roughed in, ready for just devices to put up and one resistor moved and then spliced on in this guy there. Alrighty guys, so now it's time to work on the basement where we're going to be installing 2 low frequency sounder strobes, 1 in each of the basement bedrooms. Okay, so now as far as in the basement here, I'll show you what needs to happen. We have our one device in the hallway right here, and we have a bedroom right here. So I need to get a device in this bedroom on this wall. Our fire alarm system is in this room right now, so we'll have to get in to the NAC circuit in one of these boxes, bring it out into this wall, put our device box in, but then we also have another bedroom right here. I'm going to try and get one on this wall right here. We have a smoke detector fished into place right here, so I know the ceiling is open right down here, but I'm going to try and come up into it from the garage right here, because in the garage I have this device here, so I'm hoping to come off of that NAC circuit here and then go over and down that wall there. So I've got some boxes and wire here standing in the garage here, so I'll show you the plan. This is where it all comes in from the hallway. See, this here is NAC in, this is NAC out, so I'm going to splice into the NAC in and then go down through this wall, and you can see right here that is the ceiling. This is down into the wall, so super easy to fish down. I think I'll do it here because I want to be a little further out. So 46 inches, I'll measure that inside, cut my hole, and then I can bring wires from here down that conduit and then down there and then back. Now I might actually break my tradition here of wiring this in all 14 gauge. I might tap off of this in 18 gauge for this one device. That way I don't have to bring 2 wires in, or I might still do it. I'm not exactly sure. we'll see what happens there. So I'm gonna break off of that, drop down into that room, come back into here, where then it will feed through the rest of the NAC circuit to the end of line. I want to keep this as the end of line because eventually I need end of line plates, and I'd rather drop an end of line plate down in this room than in someone's bedroom. Okay, so I decided to do a time lapse here. So I'm back with another one of these unscripted voiceovers. So is what I ended up doing here is I ended up running a 5-wire because I could not fit two 14-3s in the conduit. I'm sure if I really wanted to make it work, I could have, but it was going to put up a big fight, so I decided to just run the 18.5. We don't really need the 14 for voltage drop. The 18 will be just fine. I could have done the whole system in it. The reason I didn't is I was trying to use up the 14 gauge, but in some cases I have to use 18. Okay, so I'm pulled over from this box over to here, and then on the other side there where I've marked 46 inches, we'll measure that from inside the bedroom and cut our box out on the other side, and then we will stick a fish stick up, and well, first we'll drill it and then stick a fish stick up and hopefully be able to catch it, or maybe just push it down, and yeah. Okay, this is the hole in the bedroom here that needs to be cut out. It's kind of closer to this side of the room being right there, but it's best I can do. Okay, I've pushed some of that down there now. I got a fish stick pushed up from in the room and got it out up here, and I'm tied onto that, so I can now pull that down into the room. That's why I put a towel down, to not get insulation and drywall all over the bed. There you go, it's all going from up there. So you guys have seen me put these boxes in plenty of times by now, so I'm just going to do a time lapse. So there's going to be nothing different about putting in this 1104 L box than the rest of them. Same thing, I stripped it, put it in, tightened down the clamps, made sure the little ears on the box were all the way back, got it in place, nice flush with the wall, put in the F-clips, bend them over. Once they're bent over and in place, pinch them down. Okay, there you have it. There is our box installed in this room. Let's splice this all up together up here as if we were finished and had devices, but obviously that's open over there because we don't have a device on it. So I'm going to splice it together and splice it through just like it would be if there was a device there. Go, that is all spliced together. Okay, we'll splice this up here. First we'll strip back our outer sheathing. First we'll splice up our ground. And now this is our actual NAC circuit here, which we are going to have to cut. Our fire alarm system will go into trouble. Hey, Jackson, it's okay. It's over. It's over. It's over. You're a complete idiot, man. You are so stupid. Seriously, dumbest animal I've ever met. Once we splice it through, it should be happy again. I don't know what he's still upset about. It's over now. So this is one here. This is NAC in. This is NAC out. So we always go down on our red and black and come back on the blue and brown. So we'll do that now. So our NAC comes in on these wires, it'll come down on the red and black to our new device, and then it'll come back on the blue and brown, and then splice to these guys, which then go to our last device on the circuit, if that makes sense. So this is simple. This is just red to red, and then hopefully the trouble will clear once this is spliced together. That dog is so annoying. Okay, so then we are going to come back. So right now, if I shorted those together, that would actually cause a short on the neck. So our brown is positive because on this system, the color coding was done right, unlike the garage system, which it's off. It's at least consistently wrong, so it's not terrible, but. So our neck circuit should be clear now. I'll double check it before we put all of this away. You can see that the system is now all back to normal, all good. So with that, I will put this cover plate back on this box up here, and then that has this end of the system all done. That's that bedroom taken care of. Now switching over to this bedroom here. I'm going to put it on this wall here. I could put it on that wall, but I prefer this one to be a little further over this way, because otherwise it's kind of blocked by this bulkhead here. So I want to put it here. We're more limited by the space in this room because the ceiling's dropped here. So I have to set it a little lower, which is what it is. Code gives you the height that they want, which I put all the other ones at. But if the ceiling height does not allow for that, you can put it down by 150 millimeters, which is what I've marked out here. Because even if I moved it over the top of the closet door, I am still then too close to the ceiling. Not to mention that's not easy to get to. And if I put it over here and put it at the right height, it wouldn't even be visible because of this from all areas of the room. So I really think that that is the best spot in my opinion. Is my house, so at the end of the day, this isn't required. My opinion is what gets the final say. Sorry if the room's a little dark. I got one light fixture out. I'll probably replace these whole light fixtures with some. This room's pretty badly lit. So let's cut this hole out here and piss the dog off some more. Yeah, I'm a bit of an idiot there. So you see I ran into the stud, which is fine. We'll mount the box to the side of it. Just like this. So it'll work out fine in the end. Our devices are nice and wide, so I think we might be covered. There. Oopsies. Anyway, regardless of my screw up, we need to drill down that way. And we have a wall there, so I have to use the long extension bit because we have a wall here. Our device is there, so we'll have to drill through this stud, and there might be another one, probably is. You can see here, there is a second stud we must drill through. Attach our extension bit. judgment was pretty good there. That came out pretty much where I needed it. Pull another 5 conductor because otherwise I have to pull 2 wires, which I'm allowed to have 2 wires like this in the top of one of these guys. So I think I'd rather just pull the 18 gauge for this short run. This whole system could be wired in 18 gauge. I just was using the 14 gauge because I had so much of it that I was never going to use anywhere else, so I figured I might as well use it up. I run it the same way this was ran, just over top. Maybe I'll back out those staples a little bit and pull it through, so I might get 1 hole drilled through there. Heat is running now, so sorry about the noise. This part of the video I definitely had time-lapse because it's so cramped in here, and I can get a slightly wider angle, I believe, with the time-lapse than just regular video, but I backed out some of the other staples so I could pull this through the same staples that hold the 5 conductor that goes to for the SLC, for the bedroom smoke detector, and then I entered it into this box that the isolator module is mounted. Okay, we come up from there, and we go all over, and we're into this box here. So is what we have here is we have NAT coming from the panel and NAT going out to the field. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap into it. So our NAT coming out of the panel is then going to go down 2 of the wires to our new bedroom device, and then they're going to come back on the other 2 and then go into our NAT going out, because remember, we have to maintain a loop as always to be supervised. This box here is the isolator box, so we still have room in here to make a splice, but before we hook that up, let's get our box in and all done over there. I know I cut this hole too big, so hopefully the device will cover it. I'm hoping. Okay, so I'm just going to put in 1 F-clip on this one. And then the other side I'm going to screw in. And we'll do the same thing as the last one, where we will bond the box and splice it together as if the device was there. Therefore, the system won't be in trouble. Red and brown, and we'll just do these loosely. And then blue and black. Okay, so I'm going to put this together here. So this is going to be pretty well the same thing that we did in the garage, but I will show it again. I'll speed it up in between though for some bits. That's the grounds all spliced together. Okay, so that's our circuit going out. This is our circuit coming in. So the circuit coming in will splice to our red and black. So this should clear when I put this back together. You might be able to hear the treble relay click. In fact, that'll be your indicator it's back to normal. All right there, guys. That has the fire alarm system roughed in for this new expansion I'm doing of putting the devices in each bedroom. So that's going to do it for this video. Next video will be actually putting up our devices and setting them up and testing them and all that fun stuff. But this roughing had to happen first, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you do have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those down in the comment section. And if you do enjoy my videos, make sure to subscribe. Also, if you are interested, I do have an Instagram account at Pickle700 for bonus content and content posted earlier than you'd see it on the YouTube channel and extras, that sort of thing. Alrighty guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.